Hello, welcome to the sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Portland. I'm Nick Miller alongside Adam Green. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good.
Pretty good indeed. We just had you on camera. I saw you earlier playing some Black-White Warriors. Had to get you on camera and you just ran all over Esper Dragons. It was fantastic. And this is like a shell of a deck we've seen for a long time. You know, people have seen the pieces. And you've put it together in a pretty nice, compact unit. You know, when you came to this tournament, what was in your head? Like, why did you want to play this deck, and you know, why is it such a good choice?
Well, when you think about it, I was looking at some of the other Star City formats, and a lot of them were running the Esper Dragons.
Right.
So I wanted to run something that was going to kind of prey on that, but still not give into the whole mono red thing that you're seeing all over the place too.
Right. You're not quite as much all in as the red decks.
Correct.
You have a nice curve here. We'll go over all the cards. You got some pretty unique choices in here. Starting with Bloodsoaked Champion and Mardu Woe Reaper, along with the Shadow Spear as your one drops of choice.
Correct.
4 of course, Bloodsoaked Champion, you can bring them back. Now talk about Mardu Woe Reaper and the Shadow Spear here and the roles they play in your deck.
They're just another early drop. The Shadow Spear specifically is really great against like Carroted, stuff that is going to get in the way. You just want to get damage through, keep pressure on. They can only block one of them, so you got to kind of make them choose.
Right. Now the Woe Reaper here has like the little ability to kind of fight Graveyard Hate or be a Graveyard Hate card as well. Has that been an implication any in testing and play?
Every once in a while, especially after sideboard, because you can Thoughtseize, maybe get rid of a Jutai into the yard, because you always see that Spirit of the Dragon Tomb, and this guy can get rid of him and you gain a life.
Yeah, nice little combo there.
Yeah.
All right, of course you have a 4-piece package of both of the Chiefs, so your pump and toughness and power along with the edge and the scale.
Correct.
Now we're going to get some of the new ones here. We have the Bloodchin clan here from Dragons of Tarkir, Bloodchin Rager, and the Bloodchin Fanatic.
Correct.
I was totally surprised by the Rager here. Talk about how good this card is.
The Rager just causes bad math. I mean, when you're swinging in and he's got to block with 2 guys instead of 1, it just equals more damage through and less time for them to start to stabilize.
Right, we've seen that kind of Goblin War Drum ability before on certain cards, but this guy not only gives it to himself, but all the warriors, of course, all your deck's warriors.
Correct.
So every creature, when you get to attack with him, have to be blocked by 2 creatures.
Yep.
Now this guy, the Fanatic, has his utility been that great?
Every once in a while when it comes into a lockdown situation, more than likely it's a swing, and whatever one they decide to block is the guy that you pitch to their face.
Oh, okay. Now you've got Irration Foremost, the new kind of Silverheart here that's doing the double strike ability. All your creatures are warriors, again, theme deck here, so you can continue to trigger this.
Correct.
What's the biggest kind of amount of damage you attack with?
It's funny because the Chief of the Edge, you get 2 of them, and then you get that guy, it turns into 8, 10, 12.
Yeah.
Normally it's around 8.
Okay. Not a bad rate.
8 points is pretty good.
Yeah. And like we saw on camera this round, you were able to bring it in, give a creature double strike. While they can still kill this, you still get the double strike out of it, so you're getting your utility.
Still get some definite value from him.
All right. Now we've got Brutal Horde Chief, a card that was spoiled. A lot of people like the new coming of Hellrider. You know, this guy's going to be an all-star. But here, you know, you've already got your Shadow Spear ability on this card, but now you get even more of it.
Correct. But his real power is within the you choose their blockers. A lot of times it's you assign their blockers to one dude and you get the rest of your team through. And he's been like an all-star today.
All right. Looks pretty good. Those are your warriors. Of course, we have some other spells. Sorin, which just seems great in this deck.
Yep. You want to keep, especially against mono red, you need a little bit of life gain, and he definitely just brings a ton. Not really in there for the vampires, just the pump and start swinging.
Yeah. Yeah, when you have a bunch of 1-drops, this guy's great at pumping that, giving you a bunch of damage through, especially in racing mode, like you said, against mono red. Really swing it. Your removal spells, Banishing Light and Valorous Stance.
I mainly use Stance to save a guy instead of removal. You want to keep the damage on and you want to keep pressure on. Right. So saving a guy is normally the best mode.
So when you play a deck like this, you said you wanted to not kind of have the follies of the mono red deck. You know, where's this deck really shine in those comparisons?
Against the mono red, it's a little bit of a rough matchup, but when you're getting normally you're out trading them, your damage is more than theirs, and then so much, but it gets kind of clogged down, and that's actually the hard matchup.
Right. Another card we want to mention here, we already talked about your 1-drops, but Bloodsoaked Champion with the raid ability seems like something you really want to do where Esper is the big thing, where they're just trying to kill each creature.
Correct.
Have you had any games where you just get to like bring him back multiple times?
Yeah, I've had a couple of games against Mono Red where it just turns into me having an advantage and then just bringing him back over and over again, or sometimes it's multiples of them and you're swinging and then you just keep bringing them back.
Oh. All right, your sideboard here, you got some control hate in the form of Thoughtseize, but I really want you to talk about Athreos, God here.
Athreos makes, once again, it's just a hard decision for control. I mean, do you take 3 and let me keep a guy back into my hand, or do you just let him sit on the board and eventually I get the devotion and he starts coming through?
I would be pretty scared if you got Athreos active with the devotion. How many times have you done that?
It's not as common because normally you're playing him to protect against the Wrath, and if they want to choose the Wrath, it's got to make the decision harder for them to,
Right.
either get rid of them or let them come back to my hand.
Right. Just putting a ton of pressure on them. Now you have a bunch of the new kind of cycle of hate cards from Dragons of Tarkir. You got Self-Inflicted Wound and Surge of Righteousness.
Surge has definitely got some mono red deck, and against anything that really wants to get crazy. It does kill Siege Rhino,
Sure.
which is big, and so does Self-Inflicted.
Right.
But Self-Inflicted also hits a Jutai if they've only got that guy. It hits Caratids when they're like your early game. I think Self-Inflicted Wounds is super strong.
Definitely. Got a couple more choice cards here. You got a Downfall, a couple Bioblights for removal, and then Erase. What are the major enchantments you don't want to see? Courser, I assume?
Courser, Whip is the big one.
Okay.
Because Whip just starts the life gain, and you want to be all in, or it's kind of a glass cannon.
Okay. When you're making this deck, were there any cards you wanted to try to get in that you just didn't have room for?
I kind of wanted to play a couple more of the 1-drops, but when you're looking at it, you don't want to flood out and then just be like, well, I don't know what to do.
All right. Well, you're 3-0 so far. The deck has a great mix of pressure on just every turn. You've got pressure in different forms. You got a bunch of dash. You got a bunch of gain and drain, double strike. It looks pretty sweet. Congratulations. Hope you keep winning out. You're 3-0. You got 6 more rounds today. Stay tuned to StarCityGames.com all weekend long for the action here in Portland.